Good morning. So as part of our service today, we are going to do a healing meditation. And for those of you who have not yet taken a rock, I'm going to invite you to come up and take a rock from the bowl. This is a unity tradition. I think that I might be introducing you to this tradition. So for those of you who don't have a rock, please come up. I saw some of you come in late. Leslie, Paul, Lindia, Sarah, Carlos, Renee. Thank you. This is just a symbol. We're not taking them home, but we're going to use them in our meditation process today. These are my hot stone therapy rocks, so please don't take them home. I use them in my treatment room, but it's a symbol. All right. So, throughout history and around the globe, people are celebrating this season with festivals and ceremonies. This time of year is the Winter Solstice. We're approaching the Winter Solstice. Actually, today is 12/12/21, which, if anybody's into numerology, it's a pretty auspicious day. But coming up shortly is the Winter Solstice, and that is the day of the sun's rebirth. On the longest and darkest night of the year, there is a promise of the return of the light, of the return of the sun. And so Winter Solstice celebrations honor the symbolism of light, which is usually represented by a fire ceremony. We also honor the symbolism of life and death, of the sun and the moon, of the light and the dark. So we see duality here, and there's a wisdom in the teaching of duality. Now, every ancient culture and every modern culture continues to celebrate the light, the return of the light, the light. This is a unity tradition. So, for example, Saturnalia in ancient Rome was a festival honoring the sun god, Saturn, where they would make offerings and have parties and give gifts. It was quite wild, I understand. There's another tradition from Europe called Yule or Yuletide. And part of this ceremony would be to light a candle and place it on your altar with other items that represent light or peace or joy. Similarly, we have native and indigenous people across the globe who honor the solstice with fire ceremonies, with feasting, and with storytelling, and honoring the return of the light. Now, Hanukkah is a celebration of the impenetrable spirit and the devotion of Jewish people to God. If you remember the story of the Maccabees, who were the Jewish rebels that took their holy temple back from the conquerors, and after they cleaned and restored their temple, they went to light the menorah, the candelabra, and there was just a little tiny bit of oil left. But that oil kept that candle lit for 8 days, which they considered to be a miracle. So when we light the menorah, it's significant of the triumph of the light over the darkness, of spirituality over materiality, and of purity over adulteration. So there's a lot of symbolism here. Now for Hindus, the festival of light is called Diwali. And around the globe, they are celebrating the biggest and most auspicious day. It was in the end of October this year, so it sort of kicked off the season of light. And this festival signifies joy and peace, the victory of good over evil. It honors the light that shines in the darkness. And Hindus They clean their homes and they put candles and lights and flowers in every corner of their home, and they do puja ceremonies for wealth and blessings and prosperity and health. And of course, we are honoring the Christmas story here, which in unity we all know signifies the light of the Christ consciousness that is within us. So this light is symbolized in our Christmas story by the star in the east. And that star represents our higher self, that divine wisdom that is within you, your intuition. And it also corresponds, interestingly, to the pineal gland in the brain, which is the mystical third eye. So that star of the divine in our Christmas story that lit the way for the wise men is your higher self, is the Christ light within you. And essentially around the world, what we learn is that during this time of darkness in winter, there is a promise of the return of the light. And light is a very important symbol. And so all of our mythologies teach us about light. Now, in all mystical traditions, light is the primary symbol that is used. And as many of you probably know, Charles Fillmore, Unity co-founder, was known as the mystic from Missouri. And Unity is essentially a mystical tradition because what we are here to do is draw forth the wisdom from within you. So we're not going to teach you or tell you what to believe, but we're going to offer truth that is essentially just a reminder of that wisdom that you already hold within you. And so we study all the mystical traditions. I was recently looking at the philosophy of illumination, which was written by a Sufi mystic in 1250, and the symbol was light. The light of the consciousness, the light of your higher self, the light of the Christ presence that is within you. And light is a very important symbol in the teachings of Jesus. Now, I've been studying the Gospel of John, which has become my favorite gospel, and the Gospel of Thomas, which even though Thomas is not included in the biblical canon, it is considered by biblical scholars and historians to be a valid source for the teachings of Jesus, because over 50% of what we find in the Gospel of Thomas is found in the Synoptic Gospels, and the writings in Thomas are very... They resemble the Q source, which is the biblical source. And essentially, Thomas is just the sayings of Jesus. Now, because this was an oral tradition, Jesus was not a writer, he taught orally. And so Thomas is believed to be the first teachings of Jesus. Also the first teachings that were written down before the Gospel of Mark, which is in the Bible, the first gospel. Everything, all the other gospels were derived from the Gospel of Mark. So the Gospel of Thomas gives us the root of all of the teachings of Jesus, just in a simple form in the sayings of Jesus. So what I'm going to offer today from the Gospel of John and the Gospel of Thomas are Jesus' teachings about light. Now, in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 12, we read, Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." Now, most of us have heard this. The I am, which is the God consciousness within you, is the light. And similarly, the Gospel of Thomas uses this light metaphor. In saying number 24, it reads, quote, "His disciples asked, 'Teach us about the place where you dwell, for we must seek it.' And he told them, 'Those who have ears, let them hear. There is a light within people of light, and they shine it upon the whole world. If they do not shine it, what darkness?' And then in saying number 33, Yeshua, or Jesus, said, "No one lights a lamp so that it will be put under a basket or hidden somewhere. Rather, one puts it upon a stand so that all who enter and leave may see the light." And if this sounds familiar to you, it's because we have at least 6 other versions of this story in the New Testament. For example, Matthew chapter 5, verses 15 through 16 says, "Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father who is in heaven." And we understand the Father to be the source and heaven to be a state of consciousness. And light is the illumination of your consciousness. So light is used to identify where we come from, the source of our being, as well as who we are. We are beings of light. In Thomas saying 50, Yeshua said, "We were born of the light," where light is born of light. So we understand that our source is light, and therefore we are light, where light is born of light. In Thomas saying number 61, Yeshua told her, indicating that he had female disciples as well as male disciples, quote, "That is why I say that when disciples are open, they are filled with light. But when they are divided, they are filled with darkness." And so this is talking about union with your God consciousness. When you're divided, you're identifying with your ego or your body or the material realm. But when you identify with the truth of who you are, which is a being of light, you are open and you are filled with light. Now, Jesus teaches us about the presence of God as light. In saying number 77 from the Gospel of Thomas, Yeshua said, "I am the light that shines on everyone. I am the all. The all came forth from me, and the all came into me. Split the wood, and I am there. Turn over a stone, and there you will find me." Now, from a metaphysical lens, we can see that what this teaching is revealing to us is the I am that I am, the all in the all. And this is referring to the creative intelligence, the logos, the word, the source, that principle of creation that can be found within you and in all living things. So light is a really important symbol at this time of year. This is a celebration of light, and that's what everyone around the globe is honoring in their festivals right now. However, for many people, the holidays are not a light-filled time, but are a time where we might be experiencing some darkness. And even though we think of the holidays like Christmas to be a joyous and happy time where we're supposed to be spending our time with our family and loved ones and where there's food galore and gift giving, the truth is that many people experience higher levels of stress and anxiety and overwhelm at this time of year because the holidays are full of expectations and anniversaries and memories. And maybe this time of year brings up loss or sadness for you. The National Alliance on Mental Illness conducted a survey recently and found that the holidays impact our mental health in a pretty significant way. Of the people surveyed, 68% felt more financially stressed. 66% felt lonely, 63% said there was too much pressure, 57% said there were unreal expectations. 55% said that they remembered happier times, and they compared that to the present and weren't feeling very happy. So essentially, we know that this is also a time when many people are struggling, and you might be one of those people. In fact, the holidays might bring up a memory or something for you. And you know, in Unity, we teach a positive path for spiritual living, but we do not deny or negate that life can be hard. That is spiritual bypassing. And in the Unity tradition, we teach affirmations. You know this. We use affirmations all the time. But we also teach denials. A denial is where you affirm and acknowledge that the darkness has no power over you, and then you affirm the light. So they go together, right? So we do not deny that life can be hard or challenging, and that people may be struggling, and that you might be feeling a little stressed or burdened right now. And so while we are acknowledging that we might be having a hard time, we do not give that any power over our consciousness or our lives. We affirm the positive. We always affirm the positive, but we're not negating that people are struggling. You know, for me personally, I have a lot of positive memories of Christmas. It was a time of family, and my mother was incredibly creative, and she would decorate the entire house and make these elaborate meals. But I've been estranged from my family essentially since I was a teenager, mostly for religious differences. My family's very conservative, very traditional. And, so the holidays also bring up a time of sadness because I don't have a connection with most of my family. So maybe you're feeling something like that, or maybe you know somebody who's feeling that, or maybe you're feeling the stress of the pandemic. It's been a challenging time. So we are going to do a healing meditation today so that we can release the darkness, the sadness, the loss, whatever it is that you may be holding or feeling. Or maybe you're doing this in honor of someone you know, or for the world. The world is definitely a challenging place to be in right now. So we're going to do a healing meditation to release the darkness so that we can hold more light. This is a Unity tradition. And so for those of you who don't have a rock, it's part of our meditation today. And so I'm going to invite you to just come up and grab a rock right here in the bowl. We're going to imbue the rock with our heaviness and our darkness, and we're going to release that, and then we're going to welcome the light. So if anyone needs a rock, I'm going to invite you to come up now, and then we're going to go into a meditation process. I'm going to just guide you through an experience of being able to release whatever you're holding that might be heavy, so that we can welcome the light. In the Unity tradition, we do this process because it allows us to free ourselves of whatever feels heavy, whatever burden, whatever we've been through this year. Maybe you've had a health crisis or a financial crisis, or maybe you're just feeling the heaviness in the world. Whatever it is, now is the time to release and let go so that we can go into the Christmas season with lightness in our hearts, and so that we can hold the light. That's what the season is all about. And then we can find closure with the year 2021 so that we can be new as we enter the next year for 2022. Okay, so we're going to begin with a meditation process. And so I'm going to invite you now to just, if you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And I invite you to internalize your awareness. And just allow yourself to settle into your seat, placing both feet on the floor, holding your rock in your hands. And taking these next few moments to just bring all of your awareness into this present moment. And just begin to notice what you're feeling. Scan your body. Notice if you're holding any tension or tightness in your body. And bring yourself into the awareness of whatever you might be holding and be fully present with it. And just know that this is a safe space, that we are a loving community, and that we are here to support you. And that this is your time for you, just to go into whatever you're feeling or holding. And just be fully present as you allow your mind to become still and allow your heart to open. And we're going to take a deep breath in and welcome the breath of life, the life force energy. And then we're going to exhale slowly, and as you exhale, feel yourself beginning to relax and settle into your chair. And take another deep breath in and feel that life force infusing every cell of your body with newness and vitality. And then as you exhale slowly, allow yourself to relax even more and let go. And as you center yourself in this space in preparation for our meditation, I invite you to give yourself over to a higher power, to surrender all of your concerns. And this rock that you're holding, with this rock, I invite you to just bring into your awareness what is weighing on my heart. What feels heavy in my life? What am I holding that is not serving me? And we're going to listen to a song, and I just invite you to scan your heart, your mind, your body, whatever you're holding that feels heavy, and imbue that heaviness into the rock. So as you hold the rock in your hands, I invite you to just imagine that you are like a little child. Remember in Matthew 18:3, it says, "Unless you become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." So just allow yourself to be innocent and open as you listen and receive. Just surrendering into this childlike innocence. Just listen and feel.
Did you ever watch a tiny baby sleep? Seeing just how quiet you could keep. I invite you to feel the weight of your rock. Just
feel what may be weighing on your heart or in your life or in the world.
There are times I felt alone and so depressed that I'd hold a feather pillow to my chest and make believe that I was being wrapped in the arms, wrapped in the arms, wrapped in the arms of God.
Whatever you're holding that is not serving, let that heaviness flow into the rock. And let the rock feel heavy in your hands as you consider how you may be holding darkness. Let that tension flow out of you and into the rock. Releasing whatever is not serving. Allow yourself to be held in the arms of God.
Wrapped in the arms of
Letting all of that tension flow into the rock so that you can let it go. And just know that you are being held in the arms of the divine. And as you release and let go of anything that's heavy, allow yourself to be free of that burden. Releasing the darkness, the sadness, the grief, the loss, whatever it may be. And as you're ready, I'm going to invite you to open your eyes. And we're going to lay that burden down. So when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to come bring your rock back to the bowl. Just whenever you're ready, you can come up and lay your burden down. Leave that rock here. We don't take it home with us. We want to be free of the darkness, the burden, so that we can carry more light. And as you're coming up, I invite you to bring a denial into your consciousness. So maybe you're saying, I give no power to the fear in my mind. Or maybe you're saying to yourself, the sadness, the suffering, the grief, the loss is passing through me now so that I can experience joy and happiness. So this is your time to use your denial. I give no power to the darkness. And as you release your rock, you're releasing that darkness, that sadness. And you're letting it go. And just know that we are with you, and we love you. We're here to support you. In the teachings, the wisdom teachings around the world, we learn that the darkness is eliminated by turning on the light. And you may experience that light as being held in the arms of God. That light could be understood as the source of your divinity, the illumination of your consciousness. That light is spiritual knowledge. That's why we have a spiritual community, to remind us of what is true, because it is easy to get caught up in the darkness of the world. That's why we come here every Sunday. That's why we gather, to remind ourselves of what is true and what is real. Yeshua said, I am the all and the all. The all came forth from me, and the all came into me. There is light in everything. Split the wood, and I am there. Turn over the stone, and there you will find me. So we're turning over the stone so that we can find the light. In all of our mystical traditions around the world, we're taught about this light. And we're studying the Bhagavad Gita on Wednesday nights here at Unity. It's an amazing spiritual text. In chapter 5, verse 16, it says, as the darkness of night vanishes when the sun rises, so too the darkness of ignorance and delusion is dispelled when you gain the knowledge of your true self. Your true self. What is true? You are a luminous being. You are divine. You are a being of light. And thus, being illumined in our consciousness, when we know what is true, we can distinguish between what is real and what is not real. And we turn out the darkness by turning on the light. So when we find ourselves struggling or having a hard time or feeling the darkness, we can bring our awareness to an inner illumination, which is the truth of who we are. And we can find calmness and clarity and the promise of the return of the light. That is the message here. We eliminate the darkness by turning on the light. Now, all spiritual traditions teach us about this duality of darkness and light. Indeed, there cannot be one without the other. If you think about the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the darkness and light, they complete each other, they come together. There will always be darkness and light. But even though you may have hard times in your life, and we all will have hard times, and if you're having a hard time now, we're here for you to support you. The promise is the return of the light. You will also know joy in your life. In the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, it says, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. It's a promise. John chapter 8, verse 12, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Again, the I am is the light. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Again, John chapter 12, 35 through 36. Then Jesus told them, you are going to have the light just a little while longer. Walk in the light while you have the light, before the darkness overtakes you. Whoever walks in the dark does not know where they are going. Believe in the light while you have the light, so that you may become children of the light. Align your consciousness with the truth of who you are, and you become luminous. And again, the Gospel of Thomas, my favorite gospel right now, says, there is a light within people of light, and they shine it upon the whole world. If they do not shine it, what darkness? Shine the light of who you are. And so now we're going to embody the symbol from the Christmas story that is the star. And the star represents the light, the illumined consciousness, the Christ consciousness within you, the guiding light. All of our stories tell us about the light, which is the guide that leads us from the darkness into the truth of our being. And I actually have a star for each one of you here, but I forgot to ask you to pick up a star. So if you feel like getting up again, come take a star. If you'd rather take it when you leave, that's okay too. But what I'd like to do now in our meditation is go back in to embrace the light. We've released the darkness. Now, let's hold the light. So I'm going to give you a few minutes if you want to come grab a star, or please take one when you leave. These are for you to take home. The rocks I'm going to take home, but the star is for you to take home. So as you gather your stars, I love your hair. I'm going to invite you to just admire the quality of the star. I know they kind of look like snowflakes, but it could be a star or a snowflake, it doesn't matter. A snowflake is unique. So I'm going to invite you now to hold your star and feel its lightness. This star is a reflection of the light, the Christ consciousness in you. And just as we celebrate the birth of the Christ at this time of year, or the return of the Son, or the miracle of God's grace, we are going to allow the light to be birthed in us. And I'm going to invite you to feel the beautiful light as the dawning of a new day in your mind, in your heart, and in your body. This light is a healing light. And this light, which is who you are, which is the source of your being, is the light of love. Rumi said, "In your light I learn how to love." And so as we embody the light, we are opening ourselves up to allow love to be born in our hearts and in our minds, in our consciousness. For this light is who you are. This is the truth of your being. You are luminous. You are divine. And so we're going to listen to a song now, and I'm going to invite you to awaken your consciousness to the understanding of what the symbols mean. The starlight, your guiding light, shines on you, and the angels sing as the Christ consciousness, the Christ child is born in you. And as you are reborn in the awareness of the truth of who you are, love is born in your awareness. And remember, God is love. In 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 through 8, it said, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love."
Starlight shines, the night is still. Shepherds watch from a hill. Close my eyes, see the night when love perfect child, gently waves a mother bends to kiss God's face. I close my eyes, see the night when love was born. Angels fill the midnight sky. They sing, Hallelujah, He is Christ, our King. Emmanuel, Prince of Peace, love come down for you and me. Heaven's gift, a holy spark to light the way inside our hearts. Bethlehem, through your small door came the hope we've waited for. The world was changed forevermore when love was born. I close my eyes and see the night when love was born.
So now, with the love in your heart, I invite you to become one with the light. The starlight shines when the Christ consciousness is born. And as we remember that truth, love is born in our hearts. And so as you hold this star in your hand, I invite you to feel its glowing light and become one with the light. And this is your time to offer up a special prayer, an affirmation, or an intention to rebirth the Christ light within you, to hold in your awareness a particular vision of renewal as you embody the light and become more luminous. Turn over the stone, and there you will find me. Believe in the light and become filled with light. This holiday season is a time to reconnect with the light. And there's a light that shines inside of every one of us. It's that spark of divinity. And your spiritual community, your spiritual discipline can help you to remember that, to reconnect with that. Desmond Tutu said, "Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness." And Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And Rumi said, "In your light, I learn how to love." So may we scatter hope in places of despair. May we spread the love in places where there is hatred. And may we shine the light in the darkness. And as the Christmas lights shine this holiday season, may the light of love shine in your heart, that you may shine your light to the whole world. And so it is. Amen. I just want to reiterate that we're here to support you. If you need someone to pray with you or be with you, we're here for you. And if you wish to be anonymous, you can call Silent Unity. It's a 24/7 prayer ministry, and it's amazing service that is always available. I'd be happy to give you that number if you wish. Shall we bless our offering? Divine love, flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love, flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love, flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, it is so now.